And he's racist.
And then those that can afford to live on the moon are the only ones that get to live in paradise. So.
Yes. Yeah. He was scary because like he had nothing to lose. That last song, it's called Beating Heart of Blood. I released that one, and I wrote that when I was in jail.
What's the long-term goal eventually?
Long term, I mean, like what I really want is to be a musician, like as in like an artist, performer artist, you know, a songwriter.
Stand down, my guard's up. I can't really trust no one. Oh, in doubt, afraid of.
I still don't believe I can love anybody without hurting them.
And I'm a mess. And insecure.
You've gotten to a point where it sounds like you have a good job. Do you make good money now? Do you have a certain financial goal you're working towards? What are some of your big aspirations and goals now? And
Yeah, I
how are you
mean,
gonna
like
get there?
financially, I just want to be comfortable, right? So like.
But what does that number look like to you though? Is that like 50K a year, 100K a year?
I mean,
what's
I'm
good
making
for
right
you?
now probably like 80K a year.
That's good. Yeah.
It's not too bad. Like 30 an hour or so. So,
Okay.
but I think for me, like I just want to be comfortable. I mean, it's hard because it's hard to put a number on it too because like the economy is so crazy right now, and you know I mean, personally, I think honestly at the end of the day, my goal is to just be in music, right? So like I would love to be just even a songwriter. Like I could just write music for people like down in Nashville or something like that,
Okay.
and just write music for like famous people. That'd be super cool.
Dang,
I'll write a
that'd
song
be
for Chris
sweet.
Stapleton or something. That'd be cool.
Would you ever move to LA?
Been thinking about it. My brother lives in, my foster brother adopted one. He lives in Santa Barbara, and
Okay.
I've been thinking about moving down there with him.
My little brother and older sister just last month moved to LA.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for them and excited, hoping things will go great.
Well, it's so expensive down there, so if you don't have,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the reason why I'm even considering it is because my brother already, if he has a house down there, then like, that's like the hardest part. Is,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
coming up with the financial to live there.
Agree.
Kyle Beats is somebody I like to work with. I used to look up to him a lot, and then I ended up getting to work with him. That was the meeting I did before this one was with Kyle
Oh, really?
Beats. Yeah, and he's
That's
got about 1 million
cool.
subscribers on YouTube. Huge producer.
Dang, that's awesome.
Stuff like that. And
So it sounds like your goal is to work your job now, save up enough money, and continue doing music on the side. Would you say you want to eventually start a studio? Do you want to what's the long-term goal eventually?
long term, I mean, like what I really want is to be a musician, like as in like a artist, performer artist, you know, a songwriter. I mean even a producer. Like my producer, he works in Kansas City, and we were talking about it, like if I could just get better, like go down to Kansas City and like I don't know, intern down there or do whatever I need to down there, and
Nice.
it's tough. I'm starting so late in my life to do anything music related, but I
Really?
grind,
You're
yeah.
25, right?
Yeah.
That's not
Most
that
people start
bad,
when they're
dude.
like 14 nowadays. Or
Well,
younger.
when you want to become a prodigy, sure,
Yeah.
but like you got so many years. If
do.
if you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
you've got time for
I make
sure.
music that is meant for people like at the age I'm at right now.
Okay.
So it's kind of
Nice.
tough to like make music that's age appropriate for your audience, I guess. So
hmm Do you know what your audience kind of is?
according to Spotify, it's like basically 16 to 32-year-olds, and then like I
Okay.
think it's like 60% male, 40% female, or something like that.
Okay.
So-
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I mean, like, yeah, I'm not really trying to make music for my audience, but the type of music I make, it just falls somewhere. you
What
know?
type of rating is it? Like PG-13? Is it R? Do you cuss? Like what?
Well, I mean, it just depends on the
Usually do.
song. I mean, like,
Different for each
yeah,
one?
like
Okay.
the one that I've been trying to be better about not cussing at all in my music, so that it can, if it like, forbid, you know, it does blow up and it goes on the radio, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Nice.
want to spend the extra money to get it censored, and then it's
Right.
going to not just take the extra money, it's gonna like take the time of getting it censored to get put on the radio, right?
Mhm.
So,
That's true.
but it also, yeah, there's like so many things that go into it. Like you gotta register it with certain things so before it can go on the radio, or else you don't get paid for it.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because I mean, like they could play your song on the radio, and that'd be awesome, and it could blow up and go crazy, and then you not get paid for it because you didn't register it.
Yeah. And there's so much issues like copyright. Like who is gonna own it? You know, who gets the rights to your music? Who gets those payouts for wherever it's played and performed and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So, music is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like
Yeah.
that's an industry that it takes a lot of work to get into and to do super well.
Yeah.
But entertainment is kind of a way you can do music, but it's much easier to get into
Yeah.
entertainment. To just put on shows, to just get people's attention and interested
yeah.
to listen to your music. there's lots of opportunity for that. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
could honestly kind of like go into that and then eventually kind of like more fine tune it towards just the making of the music itself. But I think even just performing your songs, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would love to
Sweet.
perform one day. I just need more songs to do it.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
How many do you have so far?
5 right now.
Okay,
But,
nice. That's a decent
I
amount.
only have like 3 that I really like. The other 2
Mhm.
are just like me experimenting.
Okay.
The one that I released most recently has been doing pretty decent. Like really decent. Honestly, it's not like blown up by any means, but
Okay.
I like last I checked, last month I had like 1,200 monthly listeners or something like that.
Ooh,
So it's not
nice.
doing too bad. Not bad. I
That's
think right
cool.
now I have 700 because I stopped promoting. But
Okay.
what's it called? Yeah, so that last song, it's called Beating Heart No Blood. I released that one, and I wrote that when I was in jail. And everything else I've released, I haven't wrote. Like Beating Heart No Blood's my first step into getting my EP ready, and so once I can get like Beating Heart No Blood's just I've released just because I had it to release and I need to. But when I get my EP together, I want to write my EP. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it's all going to be music that I wrote while I was in jail.
Ooh,
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, because like when I write my music, I emotionally prepare myself for it. Like I
Right.
sit down and put myself in the mindset of that particular thing that I'm going through at the time,
Yeah.
and I write it, right. So I feel like it'd be tough. I've never tried to write from a person's different perspective, and I have thought about trying to do that because like it's just a songwriting exercise to do that, to like write from other people. Like I'm a guy, so it'd be like try to go the opposite way, go and try to write from a girl's perspective, or
Yeah.
I've tried to do that
tough.
before too. Like I've tried to do collaborations with artists and stuff. Like like have a girl sing on the song with me, and she'll and like she won't be a songwriter but a great singer, and like I could try to write a verse for you, and I would try, and I'm like, no, this sounds so bad. This is terrible. These lyrics are not great.
It's a lot harder because it can't
Yeah.
be quite as deep and emotional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just like you brought it up earlier. I can't wait for self-driving cars. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen by like, you know who actually
Have you ever rode in a Tesla?
I
Dude,
have
it's basically
not.
already happening.
Really?
My buddy, because he does Uber, so he's all about the most advanced cars. He just rented the most advanced Tesla that they have right now,
Okay.
and he did not have to touch the steering wheel one time for it to leave his house, go to the car wash, take him through the car wash, and get him back to his house.
Wow.
Simple directions for sure, but when it's that basic, it can do it 100% autonomously, all on
That's
its own.
crazy.
So I think that shows to me that it's getting really close to being 100% self-driving. I
Yeah,
think.
that's if they don't deport Elon.
Right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. All the crazy stuff. It's funny though because like there's a lot of drama online,
Yeah.
but when I watch Elon and Trump in person talk about each other, they're too nice to each other for it to ever get too extreme. Like the
Right.
tweets are mean and crazy,
Yeah.
but those are tweets. Those are like up for interpretation. When they actually talk on camera, they're much nicer to each other. That I think it's gonna be fine. I don't
Right.
think it's gonna go that crazy, but.
Or just I don't know. They blow up the country. I don't know.
They do have so much power.
Yeah.
That's why it was cool when they were working together.
Right.
They had so much influence, so much say and power. They were able to basically change the whole government, you know? It was so cool. And now it's a little scary.
That's fine. Well, at least we're in the middle of Idaho. So
I know.
we're
We're probably pretty safe,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Only, like, why would they come out here? Hopefully
Yeah.
they'll leave us alone.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
If you're sitting in LA, you might be screwed over. But
Dude, you've been seeing all those posts about LA recently? There's riots going on about the deportations because LA, I guess there's a lot of people getting deported from
Okay.
there, and so legal Americans are fighting to keep them there. You know, they're literally fighting the police officers and like
Oh, wow.
lighting their cars on fire, like some
What?
pretty crazy stuff. Like they're clearly, in my opinion, they're clearly taking it a bit too far, but like. They're trying to do it for a good cause. So even the news media is confused because they're like, these people are trying to stop families from being ripped apart. But then the protesters are like lighting things on fire, burning houses down and stuff. And then so you see the news reporter trying to be like, it's escalating from a peaceful protest, but you know their message is still good and stuff. But then it's just getting so extreme that they can't play it off as a peaceful protest anymore.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just crazy now.
That is crazy.
So
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows what's
wild.
gonna happen with all that?
I don't know. The
But
one that I've been like trying to follow a little bit is Israel and Iran. That one's crazy.
the Iran stuff.
Yeah.
I was in that like researching that back in a while ago, but I've given up a little bit on that kind
Well,
of
I think
stuff.
it's Israel bombed Iran this week.
This week?
Yeah.
Whoa, dang.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
So
That
wasn't
one-
it because the big thing was, oh, are you supporting Israel or Iran or Ukraine or something, wasn't it, or something like that?
Wait,
was the
in
big
in the
debate.
war?
Well, I don't know. Whatever the whole countries fighting each other, right?
Yeah, Israel and Iran are fighting each other. And then,
Israel. It wasn't Ukraine or anything like that.
Ukraine's fighting Russia right now.
Oh, that's a whole separate thing
Yeah,
then.
whole
Oh,
separate thing.
okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
the recent one is Israel and Iran then.
Yeah, well, I mean that one's been
Okay.
going on for a while, but Israel bombed Iran because I'm not exactly sure because there's so much speculation, but like apparently we want America. So Trump was going to try to work a deal out with Iran because they have nuclear weapons that they're not supposed to have according to the Iran nuclear deal, and then
Okay.
Israel was pretty mad about it that they aren't being bombed by America, or I don't know. So Israel got involved. They were like, we're gonna bomb you guys, and bomb a bunch of their nuclear facilities, and then
Yikes.
now we are like, okay, well, I guess we're no longer having those meetings with you, Iran.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also kind of like, what are we supposed to do? You know, like
Yeah.
they're supposed to be their own country, have their own
Yeah.
politics, but we are a little bit like the governors of the world in
Yeah.
a sense, just because we have so much power and
Yeah.
say. But we don't want to abuse that power either. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, I'm no politician. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I'd probably just look to my advisor and be like, what do we do? You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Whoever's
Yeah.
supposed to specialize in that stuff, I'd hope they make the right decision. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everything's going crazy right now, and
You know what bothers me about that though?
yeah.
Is when people have such strong opinions and they're like, we need to do this, or do
Right.
that. Whereas for me, I'm like, any normal person that's just a day to day, even like, especially American that's not even in
Yeah.
the country, to be so sure they know the answer, that blows my mind. Because it's like, if I don't even know how to fix my car, I expect a specialist to take care of that and know what
Right.
they're doing. It's like, as an everyday Joe, you should know that there is a process and a way to figure out the proper course of action. It's not just it shouldn't be just opinion based,
right.
So I feel like there's got to be a lot more deep thought into all that. And too many people just want to say, do this, do it now. If you don't do that,
Right.
you're a fascist, or you're the problem, you're the enemy, and it's just crazy.
There's just too many opinions all at one time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think
It's crazy.
I don't know. The world's crazy. Yeah, it's gonna get worse.
Oh yeah, I
It's just
believe
gonna
it.
get worse, and then we'll all be robots, and then we will take over the moon, and yeah.
And then those that can afford to live on the moon are the only ones that get to live in paradise. So
Yes. Yeah.
Stand down, my guard's up. I can't really trust no one. Oh, in doubt, afraid of
I still don't believe I can love anybody without hurting them.
and I'm a mess. And insecure.
Yeah, I'm 25. I was born in Northern California on like just north of my reservation. I'm Native American, and yeah, I moved up here when I was 7 in 2007. So I was born in 2000. It's awesome because the years will tell me how old I am, right? So yeah, so I moved up here when I was 7 with my mom, and crazy enough, my dad actually went to prison right after I moved up here. So I never really got to go back too much, but so I would say I'm basically Idahoan. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, you were born in California." No, I'm Idahoan. So what's it called? So I moved up to Moscow at first, and then from there moved around a little bit. Ended up here when I was about 13, up in Coeur d'Alene, and been here pretty much ever since.
Was
I-
there happenstance to you getting here, or was it just
Yeah.
jobs or something?
So I'm adopted actually too. So my mom ended up losing me as well. Yeah. So I think I was 10 years old. I was in Pullman actually at the time. We were there for a few months, and the Washington CPS system got a hold of me and my sisters and my brother, and I ended up down in Clarkston, Lewiston area for a little bit, but then just for about a couple months, and then ended up here. Up here, I ended up finally with a family that wanted me, like, or can handle me. I was a lot. I would say I'm a lot.
As a kid, I was kind of a bit of a troublemaker. Just acting out. As people who go through a lot go do that. Then after that, so I moved up here with a great family. We also went through our own thing too. I actually graduated high school while living in my car because I didn't want to deal with the rules they gave me. So,
With your newest adopted
yeah,
family?
with my newest adopted family, we've made it past that. Now they're great people. It was honestly all me. Like now that I'm old enough to really back at it, I'm like, well, I just kept on acting out because I'm, just been a lot of trauma going through somebody's head, and then they just act out.
And you were
Yeah.
17?
I was 18 when I moved out. Yeah. It was all over. Actually, I was like, no, you can't look at my phone. And I'm 18 now. Yeah. And then it became a fight, and I was like, they were like, well, if you don't want our rules, then you can move out. And I said, okay, I'll move out then. And I moved out into my car and lived in a couple different houses. And at the time, then I graduated and moved to a place here in Post Falls. I don't know. I moved around quite a bit, but it just mostly in this area. So, right.
So,
I feel like it's worse too when it's the youngest. Like with my foster parents, they only had me for about 5 years until I turned 18. I feel like when it comes to I've seen a lot of families do the whole the youngest one gets so babied, and then they're they have a hard time letting go of being parents is kind of the way I always try to psychologically see it. But
Okay.
but that's
where do
just
you fall in?
I'm the oldest actually. So
Okay.
but of my foster parents, I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So but I'm the oldest of 11 biological siblings. So my dad had I think the math adds up 6 or 5.
Wait, you
Anyway.
said you have 11 siblings?
Yeah, so I have
really?
10 siblings, yes. Blood,
Okay,
either
10
full blood.
biological
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I have
okay.
one adoptive brother that I grew up with that was here in Coeur d'Alene with me. He's a lot older, but he was around a lot while I was with my adoptive family, so I call him my brother, and then they have adopted, I think I was their 26th. So,
Wait, they
yeah.
adopted 26 kids?
Yeah, over the years they're well into their 70s, almost 80s,
How is that different from just a foster home type thing?
So I was there by myself. So I was youngest, they thought they were done adopting kids, and then my mom reached out to them and asked them to take me because I was bouncing a lot of homes, and she thought getting me into a place where she thought my mom was reaching out to foster parents to get me into a place where I could be close to her.
Biological mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, don't get me wrong, I still know my parents and I still see them. I still know my siblings, still see them, and that was definitely an experience. I would still call them Father's Day's coming up on Sunday. I'm not going to go see my dad in California. I'm going to see my grandpa up here, so I don't mind the way mine is personally. I think it definitely varies for person per person. I think if it's calling to you that you should go and try to figure it out, find your parents, if say you don't know your parents, that could be a closure situation for them. But at the same time, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to not know my parents because then then that would kind of throw me into a loop. So I think it varies per person. If that person feels called to do that, yeah, absolutely. As far for me, I do like that I know my parents because, to be fair, I don't know life any other way. But my younger siblings don't know my parents very well. And I think that kind of goes better for them too, because it's more normalized. It's a more normal family, knowing only one set of parents is kind of better that way for normalcy as a kid, because that's what it's supposed to be like, right? So I think in the young years, it's kind of hard to try to confuse kids. I think my little brother really struggled hard, is I think still struggling with it, that he had he had a set of parents, and he got taken out of my mom's custody when he was 4, almost 5, but he still knows his parents, and then grows up with a mom, but no dad really, real dad figure, but he did grow up that way. And then now he's reaching out to a dad that probably shouldn't be, but that's what he feels called to do, and I feel like he's struggling really hard with that. But once, me personally, I grew up enough to know the differences and know why I got taken away, and I'm so thankful I did, to be honest with you. I don't think I would have grew up the right way if I still made questionable decisions in my life, but I think as far as parents go, I didn't have to be confused about it. So I'm actually very happy and very thankful for being taken away, because I think I would have grew up in a way worse situation. So
Wow.
yeah.
Dang. And so what do you think helped you to be able to grasp and better understand that? Was it the age that you were when you got taken away, or was there specific things that helped you to kind of see it from that perspective?
I think with like looking back at it, I don't know like the exact reason why I saw it that way, but I think like I can kind of infer that like I was old enough to understand that my parents weren't great parents. I think I always like tell a lot of people a lot of the time that like when I was living with my mom, I would go to the grocery store with a baseball bag and steal a bunch of groceries from my siblings, you know, like that's not okay. Yeah, right?
That was with your biological
Yeah.
mom?
Yeah, so like that's not okay, you know.
And that was
And-
one of the things that kind of helped you to realize
Yeah.
something's off. Something.
Yeah.
How did you register it that way versus, I know some kids would be like, oh, this is the way life's meant to be or something.
And the thing is like growing out of that and then getting into a spot where like you don't have to do that. I mean, and then, you know, being a kid that acts out because that's what I knew, but like knowing in that situation, you're like, okay, well, being in these other homes, I don't have to do that. That's not normal. Getting to know normal people who are living in, you know, loved homes and stuff, which my parents loved me, but they, you know, liked getting high and they liked, you know, doing the things that they're not supposed to be doing. And, you know, so like knowing that that's not okay, like seeing that and then also like sitting back logically and understanding it. Now, emotionally is a totally different story. Like emotionally, I probably didn't understand it very well, but logically you could sit back at that age, I feel like, and really be like, probably shouldn't be stealing from the grocery store. That's going to get me in trouble, you know? So I shouldn't be smoking cigarettes because I'm only 11 years old, you know?
That's how young
Yeah.
you were your first time?
Yeah, my first time smoking cigarettes, smoking pot. Yeah, that's
That is fascinating.
yeah, drinking. Yeah, yeah. At that age is wild. I tell people it's like they're like, holy, why the heck are you doing that? Why would you do that at that age?
But if,
Yeah.
if your parents are okay with you doing that, then you won't know that it's bad. you know?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
That's where I feel like everyone's supposed to learn their
Mhm.
moral compass from their parents. If your parents don't give that to you,
Right.
then it's like it's kind of surprising that you found one yourself, you know? So
Yeah. And I feel like I learned a lot of mine through my own like experiences growing up too. I mean, I'm 25, but unfortunately, a lot of the way I've learned in my life has been through trial and error, getting in trouble, getting out of trouble, you know, and like, so that's a lot of how, unfortunately, the way I learned, because that's the way I learned to learn, because I didn't have parents telling me, okay, well, you shouldn't be stealing from the grocery store. And then next thing you know, I'm stealing from somebody at school and then getting in trouble
yeah.
with the cops. And then now I'm, you know, so unfortunately like that was the way I had to learn, but that's the way I had to build my moral compass was through my own mistakes. So
What was that like for you?
I think it was just a separation, to be honest. Like, I think it was a separation. Like, I had a hard time seeing my mom as a mom even back then. And now looking back, I can be like, okay, well, my mom was really more like a sister to me. You know, like my dad was so far away. My mom's boyfriend, who was my stepdad, I hated him because he was just not a great person, you know, and did not treat anybody very well. And, so I had like when I finally got separated from that, you know, I still like had love for my stepdad until I got separated from him and like sat back and like, oh wait, maybe you shouldn't punch me in the face because that's not okay. You know, and like now being in a situation where I'm not getting punched in the face, now I'm realizing that you're kind of a bad person. And you know, like that I shouldn't love you, you know? So and same thing with my mom is like, you know, my mom shouldn't be bringing, you know, drugs into the house, and my mom shouldn't be doing that. Why is that? Why? So like now being separated from that, like knowing what you're supposed to do as a responsible parent, I started realizing like now that I'm away from it, that it's not normal. So
Determines it?
yeah.
Um,
I think a lot of people try to make an excuse for using alcohol. Like my excuse, like every time I've tried to drink, I've always given myself an excuse. A lot of my excuse was like, oh, I'm around a bunch of people and drinking right now would make me more tolerable to those people, make me more likable. And that's the same thing with drugs. You know, I'm not a big weed fan because it just makes me sit down and like reflect on my life, and I don't like that. But like drinking or like some of these other drugs that are, you know, make me more fun, party drugs and stuff like that, that's really as far as I ever went, thankfully, and never went into an addiction mode or anything like that. Maybe alcohol, had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol for sure, but yeah, I think a lot of people make excuses for using when at the end of the day it's just wanting to use, you know, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to want to drink coffee in the morning, right? I mean, there's a reason to drink coffee. It does help your body and helps stimulate you, and it makes you feel better, right? But at the same time, the taste is great, right? Or at the same time, the feeling that you get from coffee is great, you know. And so it's okay to just want to feel drinking, but in my opinion, like, that's when you start having an unhealthy relationship is when it is making the excuses, right? So
Yeah.
because that's what makes you, because then you're going to find more excuses to keep doing it, and that's when it comes down a rabbit hole. So it's just always, like I said, that's that balance. Like, once you know your body best, and you know when to not, right?